In my class 12 physics NCERT, it is stated that electricity is nothing but the flow of electrons. As simple as that. But this mere statement, that means flow of electrons, have been classified into so many pages after it in the NCERT book. And if you want to go more deep, well, a dozen of books elaborating the unit electricity and MCQs and question banks as well are available in the market. Now see, a simple curiosity takes you deep into an ocean of puzzle. A simple question can make so much happen. Now imagine, what about the biggest question in life? Who am I? Who are you? Who are we? Who created us? The seek for the superiority. Brahma. Thus, Brahma Jigyasa. The answer that we find are different in forms, but not because the truth is different. It is because we are different. In Kanopanishad part 2 verse 3 we get Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedashaha avignatam vijanatam vigyatam avijanatam. One who thinks he knows God doesn't really knows God. One who knows he cannot know God actually knows God. Bible also states in Isha chapter 55, I think, verse 8 to 9, it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declared the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." In Quran Sharif also we see, "Va illahe gaibu samawati wal arzi ya ayyuhu wal lazir." ए ईमान वालो, जमीन और आसमान के फर्क को अल्लाह मियाँ खुदाबंद ताला के बगैर कोई नहीं जान सकता. And you know what does that mean. Now returning back to the point. In Gita, my Krishna in chapter 7, Jnana Vijnana Yog, verse 25 to 26, he says, "Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kashana." I am not manifested to everyone, Krishna says, being veiled by Yogamaya. Hence, those without knowledge do not know that I am without birth and death, thus changeless. O Arjuna, I know the past, I know the present, and I know the future, and I know all living beings. But me, no one knows. So, moral of the story? No one knows God. God is beyond our perception. God is beyond human intelligence. So, bye, finished. Thank you for watching today's video. Do subscribe my channel, do comment your reviews, press the bell icon to get the latest updates, and that's it. Meet you in the next video. Because no one knows God. That's it. Wait, there's another line. No one knows God until God lets you know Him. Jokes apart, this is the trailer only. The whole movie is left. Now relating to the chapter electricity, electricity means vidyut are in three forms. Nirgun Nirakara, electricity that can neither be felt nor can be seen. Electricity in water, in land, etc. Sagun Nirakara Vidyut, which can be felt but cannot be seen. Electricity which is stored in batteries are example of such. And lastly, the Sagun Sakara electricity, the electricity in the light bulb. Now same like that, the Brahma can also be classified into three states. Drishtigochar Brahma as land, water, wind, etc. As Madhyaprakashit form, as Lingam or Shaligram, and as Maulik Rupam of the Brahma, which is Vigrahas. And thus, we access God in the last two forms. As because no one's fathers had made a transformer to store a thunder strike and use it in light bulbs. As simple as that. So we use batteries. Now same like that. Thunderstorms, when they occur in the Atlantic Ocean, we call them hurricanes. When it occurs in the Indian Ocean, we call it cyclone. And we call it typhoon in the Northwest Pacific Oceans. Same like that, the Brahma is same and constant, but its way of view changes depending on how we see it, belonging to different paths. Satchidananda Vigraha is Surya Narayan for Utpatti Kritika. For Palan, he is Vishnu. To Samhar, he is Shiva. To Nigraha, she is Shakti. To Anugraha, he is Ganapati. But on today's video, we will be doing a comparative study of Shamharkarta Shiva with Vedas, Puranas and folklores on the event of Mahashivratri. Hello everyone, I am Utsho and you are watching Samhare Shankara in the series Poornabramha Chapter 2 only on the YouTube channel Utsho the Source, where not only you see artworks but also know the stories behind it. Starting with the Vedas, in Rigveda we find the presence of Shiva, but not as Shiva, as Rudra. It says, Roruyamano Dravati Rudraha, one who quickly goes roaring, short-tempered. He is Rudra. Rudra's literal meaning is weeping dissolution. Ru means Rudam, to cry, howl, or to weep. And Dra means to dissolve. He is Rodoyaterva, one who makes you cry. Status of Rudra in Vedas was such that he was given Ahuti at the last of the Yajna, making him the name Uchchishtabhaga. Though Rigveda states Rudra as the highest deity, but it highlighted its extreme aspects. Rudra Shuktam of Vritsamava Mandala says Rudras are many. They are Hiranyaratharudha, which means they are the riders of the golden chariot. They are Sthiradhanva, one who holds arrows firmly. They are swift arrows and strongly weaponed. They are Shahasra Bheshaja and Vishanjana Bhishaktama, means Rudra has knowledge of herbs and medicines and is a great physician as well. And he wears lots of golden ornaments called Nishka. Thus, in the early Vedas, we found Rudra to be someone very serious, but at the same time, he was called as Mrida, compassionate. And in the later Vedas, people got more and more attached to Rudra. In Yajurveda, this Rudra was started referring as ruler, Ishan, which shows that the serious isolated wise has started interacting with the society. And in the Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda, we notice praises of Rudra in the Shatarudrya Samhita through Namakas, means the salutations, and the Chamakas, means the rituals to please him. But somehow the fierce nature of Rudra was lowering down gradually, because Yajurveda's Vajasanya Samhita praises Rudra as Kapardin, the braided head, Nilagriva, the blue-necked, Krittivasa, who wears animal fur, Trayambak, the three-eyed, and this is the form of him we record in Mohenjo-daro's Pashupati Shil. Vedas are up to this much only, and link between Vedic Rudra and Pauranik Shiva can be started noticing from the Kurma Puran, where it states, from the Vishnu's navel bloomed Brahma, and from Brahma's forehead appeared Rudra. He was weeping loudly after his appearance, thus he was called as Rudra. In the Taittiriya Samhita of the Shatapatha Brahmin, Rudra is referred as Agni. In the Kurma Puran, he is called Rudragni. And in this junction between Veda and Puran, this point we still find how Rudra was still fiery in nature. And these things make more sense when Yajurveda states about the Chaturmasya Strambaka Yagya of Vasishtha Rishi. There we see no linga worship. Chanting Om Trambakam Yajamahe, Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam mantras, people did sacrifice into the fire only and donated white ox in the autumn season. Gradually, the story of Shivlinga is connected to the Daksha Yagya, the famous epic almost everyone knows. Skanda Purana says after losing Sati, Shiva was in stress, so much into grief that he left everything material attached to him. Gajacharmambar, Vyagracharma, everything. With that Digambar Vesha, when Shiva entered the Daruvana, when Shaptashi, seeing him in that condition, cursed his lingam to detach from the Shiva's body. The lingam, as soon as touching the ground, grew high and penetrated Akash and Patal. When Vishnu and Brahma hurriedly came out to look out and sort the matter, another epic of Hindu mythology took place. The infinite Agni Yotirlinga replied, Yadi archayanti tridisha mama linga surotam. It means, if my lingam is worshipped by the three devas, then I, the infinite Yotirlinga, will converge my form. Now gradually, Brahmansa went above and Vishnuvaraha went down to seek the ends of the Yotirlinga. Vishnu surrendered, but Brahma brought fake witness. Thus Kamdhenu and Ketaki, along with Brahma, was cursed not to get worshipped. The curse of Ketaki signifies a huge point, that Shiva, though calm in the Puranas, but still he is isolated. Ketaki, rose, etc. are the flowers of the gardens of the urban life. Shiva stays away from it, in hills, away from the garden, and he is simply pleased by mogra and jasmine. He is always ascetic. The continuous drops from the Gangajari is a sign of continuous abhishekam that keeps Shiva beseated into his place as a gesture of spontaneous worship. Otherwise, he would go somewhere else into the rural place. And once we get into the topic of Lingam, we see so many kinds of it. Trimurti, Panchamurti, Ashtamurti Rudra, Ishan, Pashupati, Aghora, Vamdev, Anugraha, Bhava, Sharva, Rudra, Pashupati, Ugra, Mahadev, Bhima, Ishan are the faces of the many lingams. Today, as because we are not discussing any particular story, we will not get into philosophy. So these were the stories of Puranas, God to God interaction. But in the folklores, the interaction is between God and human. Now folklores are many. Many means enormous. Every state have their own Shiva. In our Chitrakatha, we see a hunter named Gurudroha in the fear of the tiger climbed on a Bilva Vriksha. All day hungry Gurudroha threw some leaves mistakenly and accidentally urinated. Bhola Bhandari as a lingam beneath that Bilva Vriksha accepted the puja of Gurudroha and granted boon to him. On the other hand, in the South Indian, Kannappa was a great Shaiva. One day he saw his Shivalingam bleeding. He donated his left eye. When right eye bleeded, he, putting his feet on the lingam to mark the eye, stepped on the lingam and cut his eye open with his arrow. Bhaktavatsala Shankara granted him boon and returned him his eyes. Now if I get into all these stories all over the India, it will cover a long chapter. So sharing something very personal with you all. A coincidence of this series with my Vigrahas that I worship at my home. When I was a child, I didn't play any game that my friend used to play. Cricket, football, obviously not even hide and seek. When everyone used to take a nap at noon, I used to play something very different at my backyard. Melting clays, making idols, collecting leaves and buds, I used to play with my handmade deities. My deities used to eat those clay balls only and dress with the unbloomed flowers. At the end, I used to dig a hole and pour water into it for immersion, which seems very interesting for me at that time. One sudden noon, digging a hole to make a pond, I hit something very hard. I gave 2 strikes thinking it was a brick, but when pulled it out, saw a small Shivlinga with a broad Gauri Patta. It wasn't any modern day sculpture piece. That day I was the happiest. Whom I used to make and melt has himself come to me as a permanent Vigraha. Since then, at the early phases of my life, I took Shiva as my Ishtadeva and worshipped him in. It was my fortune that the merciful, whom I used to make and melt, had himself come to me in a permanent Vigraha. Since that day, at the early phases of my life, I took Shiva as my Ishtadeva and worshipped him with water and leaf at the corner of my room. Today, many things have changed. Understood the succession of devotional life until someone else stole my heart. Mahadev was always beside me, and still he is, and that's why he took the offerings from this fallen. Fallen are everyone. He uplifts one who waves hand. Brahma Jigyasa is a great confusion, I agree, but will obviously be solved if we continuously seek for him, or maybe let him approach to us. At the end, you might ask, Utsho, then what did we learn today? I have a shloka of Pushpadanta for you. Tava tattvam na janami ki drashoshi maheshwara yadrashoshi mahadeva tadrasya namo namaha idanim tvidam janami tava tattvam na janami yatah pravartate ajnanam tatatvaya namo namaha. Pushpadanta salutes Lord Shiva and says, I don't know your true real form. Whatever be that, I bow before it. Presently, I know this much, O Lord. Wherefrom I knew, I bow before that. Salutations to you. Om Namah Shivaya. Thus we learn how, on the benefit of the mankind, Brahmachinta has been diluted in so many forms, and how the subtle concepts become so earthy just to engage human in the path of life. How Rudra becomes Shiva, Shiva becomes Shambhu, the eternal father of ours, but this time a very compassionate, closer look to him.
भोले की जय जय शिव जी की जय जय